Are you concerned about making mistakes when speaking English? If so, this video is for you. I recently received a question from a non-native English speaker about how to avoid mistakes when speaking. And there is something very interesting about this question that I'd like to talk about. But first, let's talk about what we mean by mistake. A mistake is when you say something that's incorrect or inaccurate. So when you're considering how to avoid mistakes when speaking, there are a couple of aspects you need to consider. First of all, if you want to continue to improve how you sound when speaking English and stop making so many mistakes, you have to really put effort into improving. That means you need to make sure you're paying attention to how you're using grammar, whether there's a better or more appropriate vocabulary word you can use in order to express yourself. You want to put some time and effort into reducing your accent and sounding more like a native English speaker. You probably want to continue to seek out new language, new expressions, new ways of communicating. And this is going to help you avoid mistakes that mark you as a non-native English speaker. In order to fix these type of mistakes, I encourage you to really be self-critical. Pay attention to how you speak English. From time to time, you may actually want to record yourself in order to see if you're using English correctly. You may want to invest in an evaluation where a professional can tell you exactly what you're doing wrong. Sometimes people like to ask their friends, but without being a trained English teacher, they may not hear all the mistakes that you're making because they may just notice things like grammar or vocabulary. But when someone says to me, I want to avoid making mistakes when speaking English, I actually think they're not talking about making grammar mistakes, using inappropriate language, pronouncing things incorrectly. What they're really talking about is not making mistakes when they're actually speaking English. They don't want to make mistakes when they're speaking out loud, when they're producing English verbally. Many non-native speakers are concerned about making mistakes during their conversation, saying the wrong thing, using the wrong word, not being able to express themselves as fluently as they do in their native language, having to correct themselves or say something another way. The thing I want you to understand is that these type of mistakes are normal and to be expected. You should actually plan to make mistakes in conversation and be able to recover from them. You shouldn't try avoiding making mistakes. You should try making more of them. If you're making more mistakes in conversation, that means you're trying to express yourself more eagerly, more enthusiastically. You're going to make mistakes as you move into fluency because that means you're actually speaking more. When you make mistakes in the middle of a conversation, this means you're probably connecting with the other person. The goal is to recover. The goal is to be able to continue the conversation from the mistake. If you notice in my live videos, I make mistakes all the time and I just keep going. I find another way to express myself. I correct my incorrect pronunciation. I keep going. Mistakes are part of a real, active, natural conversation in English. So instead of avoiding mistakes, I want to tell you how to recover from them. Your goal is to correct yourself in a fluent sounding way. This is what I encourage you to do by showing you how to learn different conversation skills that help keep the conversation flowing. What makes you sound more natural and more fluent in a conversation is being able to recover and keep the conversation going. So what I'm going to teach you to do today is to correct yourself and rephrase your ideas using a lot of useful expressions. Remember, these expressions will help you sound more fluent when speaking English. If you make a mistake when speaking English, you can use one of these expressions before restating your idea. What I mean is, what I meant was, let me put that another way. What I'm saying is, what I'm trying to say is, let me rephrase that. Let me try that again. One more time. You'll use that expression with a smile. Admitting that you made a mistake is actually going to help the other person see your confidence when speaking English. As you can see, using these expressions before restating your ideas shows your confidence and also makes you sound more fluent because you're able to acknowledge that you made a mistake but keep going. This is going to help the conversation keep going, and instead of getting embarrassed or ashamed that you made a mistake, you're showing that you made a mistake and now you're going to fix what you said and you're going to keep going with the conversation. I hope you feel more confident about recovering from your mistakes. Instead of deciding to avoid mistakes, I want to encourage you to just keep going with the conversation. That's what native English speakers do. And if you can learn to do this confidently by using these very natural sounding expressions, you're going to have much more productive and effective conversations in English. Once again, I'm Kim from EnglishWithKim.com. I'm your guide to the essential conversation skills you need to sound more natural in English. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Have a good one. Goodbye.